So I take whatever's in there and I show Brad my tongue and show him the acid to be like, all good, right? And he's like, no. Hi, my name is Stanzi Potenza, and this is a story about mommy's first trip to Vegas, first time taking acid, and how I became best friends with a 40-year-old orthodontist from Iowa. I became friends online with my friend Scumbag Dad, you might know him. One day I get a phone call from him and he says, hey, I'm going to Vegas with a bunch of my friends and we are filming this video for my channel called Angel Shot Origins Omega Endgame. You want in? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. We had never met in person and I didn't know anyone else who was on that trip. So I was like, I'm gonna spend 3 days with like strangers basically. So let's see how this goes. So we all took some mushrooms. We go and we have a drink before we do our next thing, which was going into Omega Mart. Omega Mart is this really cool art installation, basically designed for people who are on psychedelics. And so they start to hit right before we come in. And I walk in, the first thing I see is a bottle of bleach with my last name on it. And I'm looking around and I'm like, guys, what's going on? I have a very specific last name. My last name's Potenza. Why is there a bleach bottle with my name on it? Brad just goes, they knew you were coming. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean by that? Is that a gag or what the fuck is going on, you guys? So immediately, like, the mushroom trip is going a little crazy. I'm like walking over to the walls and just like stroking them consensually, I believe, in my opinion. Do I look like a psychopath right now? And I look around, I'm like, no. Everyone else is on drugs too. I'm fine. This is fine. I have this joke that all of our friends are basically like, it's like a potluck of drugs. Scumbag Dad, it's acid. For me, it's like mushroom and poppers. All my friends there were straight, but I was like, hey, we might not have ketamine, but I do have this other fun thing called poppers. And they're like, isn't that the gay thing? I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't have to be. It's not gonna like just loosen your butthole and then your entrails are gonna fall out, you guys. They were very nervous about this. So I have all of my friends sniff it and they're just like, whoa, this is crazy. Everyone's body gets really hot. We're all looking at each other like, I feel crazy right now. That was night one. Day two, we were filming at this military museum. We had flamethrowers. We shot a tank into a mountain. Day three, Scumbag Dad is like, I got acid. Who wants it? Me, we do, Dad. I don't know what one tab of acid looks like, so I take whatever's in there and I show Brad my tongue and show him the acid to be like, all good, right? And he's like, no. So I had actually taken like 3 tabs of acid. We're gonna be fine. We're just going on a different journey today. Some woman comes up to me and she goes, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And I'm like, yeah. And she pulls me to the side and she's like a fan of mine. And so she starts telling me about how I've like helped her on her like journey through chemotherapy and I'm on a lot of acid. So I'm just like, whoa, that's crazy. Thanks for letting me know that. So then we all go to Cirque du Soleil. We go to a show called Mad Apple in New York, New York. Brad has a lot of connections working with someone who lets us on stage for sound check. And at that point, everyone's kind of getting in their seats. Why are we on the stage right now? And the audience is viewing us. And I don't know, they're like, come on, everyone take a picture. So they have a picture of us all standing together being like, yeah. And Mad Apple is New York themed. Everything about it is New York. And so Brad and I were like, what if the real New York was New York, New York, Las Vegas?
Yeah, you'll never get a better slices of than in New York, New York, Las Vegas.
Brad looks at me at one point during the night and he's like, we have like another show immediately after this. And so we go to this thing called Particle Ink in a warehouse behind like a caged-in fence. And we walk through and there's a pile of garbage on the ground and a Muppet comes out of the trash and starts like telling us like what we're gonna see. It's like, oh, you're gonna see a lot of weird things in there. And we're like, okay, cool. And so we get in and it's like one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen. They're using like lasers and lights as part of the storytelling. I cry. And some guy proposes to his girlfriend right in front of us. And it was a beautiful moment for them, but then for us, we're like filming them while we're like tweaking out on drugs, being like, yeah, love wins. And then Scumbag Dad goes, hey, at 9 in the morning, I have to go on a helicopter and film one last scene, and I have room for one more person, I'll do it. And then we take a helicopter ride, and then I go to the airport and I fly home to the fake New York, because that's where I lived at the time. And we're doing it again next week, so...
Tales from the